That was a really good win for us. I just wanted to say how proud I was of our team and our staff for the way they handled this week. This was a very difficult week for us because of Angela Spencer, and it should be, because their family was very special to us. So I just want to kind of put closure to Coach Spencer and his boys and their situation. That it affected our staff. It affected our team in good ways. That we weren't very good for most of the week up until about Wednesday. We didn't get much. There wasn't much talk in our staff room. There wasn't much with our team, and so I was concerned about that. This was a really good win for them. But the way they played in the second half, win or lose, I told them that the way they handled this situation was beautiful. And the win makes it special, but the way they fought back as a group shows a lot about their character and who they are. So I want to start with that. Secondly, I don't know if I've been in a game that's had as many twists in one half that we had in the second half, with all the different things from the turnovers to Blackman's celebration penalty or touchback, to not converting on a first down, having to run the ball out of the back of the end zone. Probably an NCAA record, one wideout took 2 safeties in one game. But I was really proud of our team. I was proud of the way the defensive staff made adjustments in the second half. The first half, we were poor. We had penalties that took ourselves out of drives. Their kicking game was better in the first half. They downed it inside the 10 twice, and we had, 2 40 or 50-yard drives. Had first down around midfield, and we got 15-yard penalties. And you can't do that against a good football team. We've overcome some of those penalties against some teams prior to this team, and against these people, you're not going to be able to overcome it. So we took ourselves out. We tackled poor. We missed 6 or 7 tackles in the first half that allowed them to get big plays and convert drives. And so we never gave ourselves a chance in the first half, but obviously played much better in the second half. I thought our team was in tremendous physical condition. I thought that we had a lot left in the fourth quarter. We had 2 injuries, Jonathan Rush, who's out for the year, Devin Hedgepeth, who's out for the year. And we had guys that came in and played for them and played very well. So what this came down to is I thought our team was in better physical condition by a long shot. I thought we were in really good shape. And so I'm very proud, and obviously it's a good time for us to have an open week.
Mike, can you just talk about you alluded to it, but the second half, how big was it that first drive and then the first stop to start the third quarter to kind of keep you going forward?
We talked in the locker room, as you mentioned, you got to score and then you got to stop them. And I know a lot of time it's coaches talk, but we talked about one play and one touchdown, and then you just have to stop them once. And then obviously if you score, you're right back in the game. At some point, you've got to get it within 10 points to put them under any pressure at all. So it was very important for us to have a good start.
Did you know, Mike, that you're going to come out and play better in the second half? Or did you see something that, hey, all we got to do is this? Or would you just said, well, let's just see what happens?
Well, I don't know that we would. I just knew that I felt like that we were moving the ball fine. We killed ourselves with penalties, and Whedon was making good decisions with the football. We hadn't turned it over. I don't think we turned it over, did we? Yeah, we had no turnovers. And then we were rushing the ball well. Now, we ended up with 40, we had, I think we took a negative 40 or there on the last play, but we had close to 100 yards rushing. And so I knew if we could run the football and not turn it over, we'd have a chance. And then our defense just needed to tackle better. We were running up in there, and we weren't firing our gun. We just went to the ground, didn't tackle very well.
Is that why you stopped the run? Because first half they were gashing with a lot of runs. Second half,
it's poor tackling. Yeah, if you look at without even looking at the tape, I know I happened to be watching where we had tackles, backers, or safeties that were coming up, and had an opportunity to make the play for a 3-yard gain or less, and just fired right through there and didn't hit anybody. So then you're only going to have one person to fit a gap. You're not going to have 2 people free in most cases. And so they end up being 6, 8, 10, 12, 15-yard runs.
What do you tell Justin after the touchback, or even the rest of your team?
I didn't say anything because I felt like that the embarrassing situation that he put himself in probably solved itself.
Did you have any reservations about having him do the last play?
It was him or Whedon.
You couldn't have gone to Cooper or somebody?
No. There comes a time when you got to say, look, I'm going to put it in the best athlete, the guy that's a gamer. And Justin's issue with what he did is it was not smart at all, okay? And we'll have that discussion now. It's not the time. But he's so competitive that he gets caught up in the flow of the game. And he loves it. He loves to compete. He loves to block. He loves to catch. And when he does that, he gets out of control a little bit. That's what he did. And so I'm going to guess that he learned a lesson the hard way. And so we'll discuss it, but at a later time.
Mike, was the conference stuff at all a distraction? I mean, early in the week it looked like you guys were in the Pac-12. Was that to you or anybody?
It was more noticeable this week because you just can't go anywhere without people talking about it in the office and, jogging on campus at the bagel shop. That's what everybody talks about. So you can't run away from it. But, we're in our own world. Whenever we say that, we go to work in the morning, go at night, and we don't pay attention to anything else. And I think everybody knows how I feel. I don't know why the Big 12 has to sacrifice. I think we need to stand tall and keep this thing together, and I've said that.
Right.
So other than that, we're just going to keep rolling and go wherever they send us.
Did you hear your fans at the end of the game? They were, after the interception, they were chanting Big 12, Big 12, Big 12.
That's good. You saw two teams playing that are in that league, and I didn't see anything wrong with either one of them.
Do you think it meant something to people, though, that you came here and got A&M, given the fact that A&M was on its way out?
Oh, I'm sure the fans are, people in chat rooms and all that, they'll probably be all over that. But our guys know it's the next game, and it's conference play, and you got to prepare and go play the game and take it for what it's worth, and that's what they did. I hope A&M stays in our league. I hope the Big 12 stays strong. Other than that, it's really another game for our guys.
Talk about your secondary. Gilbert gets a pick, Broad Brown got a big pick, and then against a rookie receiving.
I thought as the game went on, I thought our guys got stronger. I thought they were breaking on the ball more. Their coverage was tighter. They could get their hands up. We put more pressure on the quarterback. We tipped 2 or 3 balls, and I just thought that our players were in good condition, and it paid off for us in the fourth quarter.
You talked a lot about the progress that you guys have made in this program. You look back, maybe even before you guys had Zach or Dez and those guys, and down 17.5 to a top 10 team. What do you think happens in one of those games in 04 or something?
Well, it takes a lot to be able to come back against a good team on the road and at this place. I don't know, what does this place hold? 85?
87,
You got 100 people versus 87,000. I don't know how many we had. 4,000 or 5,000 at least. So there was 5,000 and 100 of us against their 86 or 85,000. So it takes a lot to be able to do that. You don't do that overnight. 3 or 4 years ago when we were in that situation, guys, they didn't look the same in their faces in the locker room. And so it takes time to develop something like that. You got to win, and they got to prove to themselves they can do it.
What do guys' faces look like in the locker room after a half like after the first half?
After the first half, they were fine. They were sitting down in their areas, and I went around to each one of them and gave them my opinion of what happened, and they agreed. And we talked about adversity. Your true colors are going to show when bad things happen, and so we'll see what side they show.
Can you talk about just Brandon, expound on his game? I guess he had another record-setting attempts, completion, yardage day, and then your receivers seem to really do well after they caught the ball, picking up yards.
Well, they've done a nice job of that, and we have a number of skill guys, as you know. We got a lot of guys that can make plays, and we had, Coop got 11, Black got 11 supposedly, Hugh got 10, Joe Randall got 4. But this is the quickie ones, I think, because I know number 5 caught a couple.
Well, that's not cool.
Yeah. Anyway, but Brandon, needed to make good decisions in the throwing game today. And I mentioned a week ago on Monday that I felt like that this game would come down to a turnover battle and being able to rush the football. And they rushed it for 162. I bet they had 150 in the first half rushing the ball probably. I'm not sure. I don't know what they had. And we rushed it for basically almost 100 until we took the big loss. But they had 4 turnovers, and we had 0. And so it came down. I'm going to guess they probably feel the same way. It came down to turnovers.
What did you feel like went wrong for your offense in the first half? I mean, you guys had
Penalties.
3 on the first quarter.
Penalties. We started inside the 10 twice, moved down the field and had penalties, and we ended up in first and 25 and second and 28 or something. And
Yeah, 3rd and 43.
yeah, I mean, in 3rd and 43, we couldn't even hunt that far. Good.
The craziness of last week and then the intensity of this game, how important is the off week now for you guys?
Well, off week always comes at a good time. Gives us an opportunity to recruit, allows us to work on fundamentals in practice, and gives the coaches and players both a chance to take a breather. We need to have 3 good practices and then let them have 2 or 3 days off and get ready to come back and play at a high level each week.
Did you talk at all at halftime about what last year was like, down at half last year, you came back and won, anything like that?
I heard the players saying that we've been here before, and I'm guessing that's what they were referring to. They didn't point to that game in particular, but I'm guessing that's what it had to be, that they said, hey, we've been here before. We just got to go out and make plays.
Mike, you talked about how hard it was to get back to football, and not many guys talking in the staff room. When did things sort of return to normal? Or I mean, that probably happened, but
it was a little bit better Wednesday during the day. And again, I on a really serious note here, I would have said the same whether we won or lost the game, but it was a real surreal run there. And I mentioned it to the staff. I said, guys, we have to get our players going. And, I had 2 players come to me. One made this band for her and one put the sticker on her helmet. That was not a coach. We didn't make that decision. And so it definitely affected them. And then Thursday, I wasn't even there except in the morning for the staff meeting because I flew to Atlanta to go to the funeral. And it rained, and so we had to change practice times. And I was just concerned about all that. But their frame of mind Friday in walkthroughs and on the plane and stuff was better. And then chapel last night was really good. And so, we were fortunate. You got to have strong leadership, and you got to have experience to win games to come through in situations like that.
When you went to Missouri 3 years ago, you had a good week of practice, you didn't have any distractions, everybody's healthy, you win a big game. So considering all you had to cope with before you got here, and the fact that you're down 17 at the break, and you come back, is this the most satisfying win you think you've had?
Mm-hmm. It is for me personally. I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but and again, I told the team this, Bill. All I do is stand around and watch now. I don't call plays, and I'm not in practice watching things. I'm just watching people and attitude and body language, and it was a struggle for most of the week, and so you have concerns with that because you're only going to play as good as you prepare. That's just the way it is. The only thing that I think benefited us was that they understood they had to push through it because you don't get it back. We're going to play A&M at 2:30 today, whether we had some adversity or something happened or not. So you have to find a way to push through it. And I think they learned a great lesson in life today. I really do.
Is this a win, one of those mark wins for you for the program?
Again, you're down 17. You're playing a top 10 team in the country, a legitimate top 10 team. I mean, they're a good team now. And you come back and, there's 85, 87,000 people here or whatever.
I saw you at halftime. I couldn't hear what you were saying, but you looked pretty composed. Were you confident you could come back like that?
Sure was, because I felt like that we stopped ourselves. We had penalties and poor decisions in the kicking game, and we didn't tackle very good. I knew we could clean all that up.
Where did you spend your time at halftime? Where were you?
I moved to all the groups.
What was your message to offense? Better tempo, quicken the tempo, because that's when you were at your best.
Well, but our tempo was fine, but it was no good. We got penalties. You're fast, and they stop it, move it back, blow the whistle, everybody lines up. So now you have no tempo. You can't run tempo with penalties. So the message to them was they hadn't really stopped us. We started twice inside the 10, and we ended up with 15-yard penalties. And when we do that, it's difficult to overcome it when you play good football teams.
Coach, was your defense aware of Cyrus Gray's streak of 9 games of 100-plus yard rushing games?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, they were aware of all that. We knew we had to stop the run. As I mentioned during the week, we knew we had to stop the run no matter who it was. And again, in the second half, they played much better.
Does that make you pretty confident about the future and the rest of the season, being able to stop the run?
I'm confident in our football team, but we still have to get better in a lot of areas. They had 471, so they had a bunch of yards. But I bet you they had 300 and a half.
301.
Yeah, so we played much better in the second half.